Welcome to WNL Sports Weekly. I'm your host, Jeremy Franklin. This week, we'll speak with baseball second baseman Byron Peyster, women's tennis player Lauren Caire, and men's lacrosse midfielder Harry St. John. But first, here's a look back at last weekend in Washington and Lee sports. Washington and Lee won 4 of its 5 conference tournament games to take home the school's first ever ODAC baseball championship at Lynchburg City Stadium this weekend. Junior right-hander Chuck Davidson was named the tournament's most outstanding player after tossing 15 innings over 2 victorious starts without giving up an earned run. He was joined on the all-tournament team by Peyster, third baseman Jim Plantholt, and outfielders Terrence McKelvey and Anthony Cardona. The Generals will head to the NCAA tournament for the first time in program history. In women's tennis, WNL won its 19th ODAC championship by beating Hollins, Randolph-Macon, and Virginia Wesleyan at home this weekend. Senior Katie Tabb was named ODAC Player of the Year. First-year Ellen Yateman took home Rookie of the Year honors, and head coach Eric Ishida was Tabb Coach of the Year. The Generals head back to the NCAA playoffs, where they've advanced to the finals each of the last 4 seasons. The men's tennis team saw its run of 13 consecutive league titles end with a 5-4 loss to Hampton-Sydney in the ODAC finals. At 15-6, the Generals will hope for an at-large bid to the Division III tournament. Another long streak was snapped on Sunday as Washington and Lee fell 11-9 to Roanoke in the ODAC Women's Lacrosse Championship in Salem. The Generals had won 6 straight league titles, but despite 3 goals and an assist from senior Kelsey Robinson, they were unable to fend off a second-half rally by the Maroons. The men's lacrosse team opened up play in the ODAC tournament with a 25-3 first-round win over Guilford at Wilson Field on Saturday. Junior Will Keegler posted 4 goals and 3 assists, and sophomore Drew Kahneman notched 4 goals as WNL advanced to the semifinals. Since our last show, 3 other spring sports teams have competed in ODAC championships. In Cape Charles, Virginia, the golf team stormed back from 6 strokes down on the 3rd and final day of the ODAC Golf Championship to take its 2nd straight conference crown. And in the track and field championships at WNL on April 17th and 18th, the women's team placed 2nd and the men's team finished 3rd. Coming up next, I'll be joined by baseball captain Byron Peyster. Joined now by Byron Peyster, senior baseball captain from Washington, D.C. Byron, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Byron, what does it feel like to have captured the school's first ODAC baseball championship during your senior season?
I mean, it's kind of like a storybook ending, honestly. I mean, 4 years is such hard work, and to get the first one ever, too, it's a really big honor. And all the alumni support and just all the the emails and text messages we've gotten over the past few days, really, it's made it even better than I could ever have thought it would be, and I thought it would be incredible. So it's been a great few days, and it's a really big honor just to be a senior and be a part of it.
Looking back at the end of the regular season, WNL played 9 games on the road in 9 days, and you didn't clinch a spot in the playoffs until the last day of the regular season. So how did that week help your team prepare for the ODAC tournament?
I think it just got us ready to play pressure baseball, honestly. I mean, every game that whole week was on the road, first of all, so we were away from home. We were used to riding on the bus, not being at home, and then just every game was backs against the wall, and especially that last weekend, we knew we had to win, so we kind of we called that weekend, that one last weekend in the regular season, a mini tournament in itself, and we said we had 4 more mini tournaments to win this year if you count that weekend, ODACs, regionals, and then the World Series. So we just said that was the first one, and then come ODACs, it wasn't anything new to play pressure baseball. We were ready for it. Other teams had kind of been coasting in, and we were ready to play. I mean, everyone had been feeling the pressure already, so we were ready for it.
In Lynchburg, you got clutch performances from just about everybody who played or pitched over the weekend, but could you tell us about your home run that beat Randolph-Macon in the elimination game Saturday morning?
I mean, honestly, I think that makes all the hard work you've ever put in. I mean, all the hard work I've put in over 4 years, every time you've gone to hit in the winter or every weight you've ever lifted, I think you do it for just so you can step up in a moment like that. And I mean, it was just my turn that time. I mean, we'd had so many guys step up, like you said, all throughout the weekend. I mean, every game was a different person, and that was kind of my turn that day. And it was incredible, though. It was a great feeling, and I was just so happy to do it. And we still needed great performances in the 2 games after that to get it done. So,
looking forward, you'll go to the NCAA regionals in a couple of weeks. How do the Generals continue their success into the NCAAs?
I think first of all, we need to realize we belong there. I think it's easy when you've never been somewhere before. I mean, we've never been to NCAA regionals before, to think that you might not be as good as the other teams, but we've earned our spot there. We won the ODAC, which is a very strong league. So we need to first feel like we belong, and then beyond that, just keep doing what we've been doing. We've been playing very good baseball, I think, and just honestly, the next goal should just be win that first game, whoever it is. We don't know who we're playing yet. We'll probably be not the highest seed, but if we just come out, play good baseball in that first game, and take that first one, we'll see what happens. I mean, we know we can play well in a 6-team tournament, so that's all we got to do.
Well, Byron, congratulations on the ODAC title. Thank you for joining us here.
Thank you.
With me now is Lauren Caire, junior tennis player from Nashville, Tennessee. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Lauren, the Generals have locked up another automatic bid to the NCAA tournament with the ODAC title that you won this weekend. What is the team's mindset as you get set for the national playoffs?
Well, right now we're just working on weaknesses, things we've learned about ourselves throughout the past couple of matches, doing a lot of individual work. We've all talked to our coaches about what we need to specifically work on, so just still trying to grow at this point.
You played a tough non-conference schedule all season long, but how will that last week of the regular season, the matches against Emory, Presbyterian, and Wofford, benefit the Generals as you head into the NCAAs?
I think they're really going to help us. They were all three very challenging matches. We really had to step up for them. Sometimes that happened, sometimes it didn't. Specifically, the Emory match was a tough loss, so while that might have been rough at the time, I think it's really going to help us be motivated into the rest of the season, and also that'll be compounded nicely by the confidence we gain from those two other wins. So.
You had just one other Division III loss on the season, and that was to Williams in a rematch of last year's national championship. If you face a team like the East or like Emory in the playoffs, what do you need to do to beat them?
I think that since both of those losses, we've been working on exactly what happened, where we fell short. So hopefully all that hard work we're putting in now is going to help us pay off then. But we're really going to have to step up when those matches, when it comes time to play those matches. So.
How important is it to stay focused on each round? And since you have a younger team this year, do you think that might help you since a lot of those players were not involved in the previous national championship matches?
I think a younger team is really going to help. There's a lot of excitement and energy going to each match. So as you said, we're going to have to focus on each round as it comes, because this year especially, there are a lot of teams that could really pull out a national championship. So focusing and just staying in each match as we're there.
Lauren, we thank you for joining us and we wish you luck in the NCAAs.
Thank you.
Joined now by Harry St. John, senior lacrosse captain from Essex Fells, New Jersey. Harry, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
This has been one of the most successful lacrosse seasons in recent memory. How have things come together on the field in 2009?
I think you can start at the top. We had a couple of coaching changes, and I think Coach McCabe couldn't have picked a better supporting staff in Coach Archibald and Coach Fair. And then trickling down from that, we had a very strong senior class, starting with 10. I say starting because we've endured a couple injuries, but when we started the season, we had 10 seniors, all who will contribute and have contributed a lot on the field in these past few years. And I think that naturally brought a little bit more credibility day in and day out in the practice environment when we were pushing people a little bit harder. But I think, I don't know, I mean, it's come together. I think the coaching staff has entrusted us, and in turn, we've kind of bought into their system, and there's been more of a continuity between the coaches and the players than in recent years, and that helps, I think, most in the close games, especially early in the season. When it came down to those one-goal games, I think senior leadership as well as a strong coaching staff kind of prevailed at the end.
You've had good play from the attackmen and good play from the defense as well, but how has the midfield depth benefited the Generals this year?
Well, we've needed the midfield depth more than ever this year. We know that was our strongest position as far as depth coming into the season, and we've really endured the test of time in that Logan Bartlett went out, Kevin Fuge, Jeff Marks, and I've been battling a back injury for the past few weeks that people have stepped up day in and day out. I know we've adjusted. I mean, it even changes from practice. One day we'll have first line and second line set, and then as soon as the game comes, there'll be 3 or 4 different changes. And we've asked predominantly offensive players to play defense and vice versa, and everyone stepped up at the right time.
The back injury that you mentioned kept you out of the regular season meeting with Lynchburg last week. But from a team perspective, what happened in the second half against the Hornets? How do you change that as you prepare to play them in the semifinals?
Well, I learned firsthand in the second half that I could never be a coach because I wanted to pull my hair out watching it. But if you break down the numbers, you can't shoot 1 for 18 and expect any result but a loss. In the second half, we shot 1 for 18. But I think we kind of strayed away from what was working in the first half. If you look in the first half, especially that first quarter, I don't think Lynchburg touched the ball until around 9 minutes left in the first quarter, and we had already scored 2, and we actually went up 4-0. I think what got us there was moving the ball, not rushing, kind of playing within our offense and not letting them dictate our tempo. However, the second half came, and as soon as Lynchburg crept back in the game and then eventually took the 7-6 lead, I think the offense as a collective unit was kind of trying to score 3 goals with 1 shot and not taking it one at a time. Tonight, I'll be back. I'm excited to be back. Not feeling 1,000%, but we've got a few schemes to try and minimize my running. Hope this isn't streaming live to Lynchburg. But we're excited. I mean, I couldn't be more excited. As a senior class, we've never beaten Lynchburg, and I know that's killing us right now. And I don't think anyone believes that we were the worst team, but rather that they kind of got away with one. And I know we're really looking forward to tonight.
A victory against the Hornets would put you one step closer to an ODAC championship and to an NCAA appearance. What would those 2 things mean to you and the rest of the seniors?
They'd mean the world. We set out, I guess, after last season and in the fall of this season, we always set out team goals. And in years past, we've gotten into the tedious numbers of we expect X percentage of man up or clear, or et cetera, et cetera. And this year was pretty clear we wanted to make the NCAA tournament. And whenever you set a realistic goal, but whenever you set such a specific goal, anything less is really deemed a failure. And I know we were just speaking about our success as far as the win-loss column in the regular season. Yes, we're 13-3. I had never even gotten 10 wins in these past few years. However, if we don't take care of business like I believe we should and could in these next 2 games, I would say this is a failure for what we set our goals to. Everyone, again, believes that we can, and we will.
Well, Harry, thank you for joining us, and we wish you luck this week.
Thank you very much.
The men's lacrosse team returns to action Wednesday night at Lynchburg in the ODAC semifinals. A win would set up a championship encounter with either Roanoke or Hampton-Sydney this weekend. And on Saturday, the women's lacrosse team looks to sharpen its NCAA resume with a contest at USA South champion Christopher Newport. For WNL Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.